Here's a relevant reality from God's word for you in the 21st century. Your little is a whole lot in God's hands. See, God effectively altered an entire culture through one man named Gideon, who was willing to stand in the gap and make a difference. Now, Gideon was not perfect. Gideon was a complainer, a bickerer. Oh, he was just out there. But God saw potential in him. As a matter of fact, Gideon makes it to the exclusive list of courageous men and women in Hebrews 11 who put their faith in action. What I find interesting about Hebrews chapter 11, what a lot of people call the Heroes Hall of Fame or Heroes Hall of Faith, is that God never mentions Gideon's or the others' inabilities or their sin. He tells us about their accomplishments through faith, and he never mentions their shortcomings, although other verses do. Gideon, in his world, was so messed up, about like a soup sandwich. If you ever try to eat one of those, it's very difficult. It had been 200 years now since Israel had seen the walls of Jericho fall by the power of God, and things had changed because Israel didn't finish the job. God told Israel to drive out all the Canaanites, and Israel obeyed partially. As a result, the Canaanites had come back and had grown stronger. Ultimately, they ruled over Israel, and the Israelites were devastated. They were hungry, they were hurting, they were absolutely humiliated, and so they started calling out on God. And God sends the answer in the form of a little bitty fellow by the name of Gideon. You see, God goes out of his way to find ordinary people so that he can get extraordinary credit, that he can get the glory for it. See, when we look at someone like Gideon, it gives hope to those of us who are on this ordinary side. God will often use those that seem unqualified to do the unexpected. The Lord can change the world with an ordinary person who will say, Lord, I'm willing to be that person. The question is, will you step forward? You see, God can do a lot with your little.